Okay, hi everyone. This is the first video I make. This is a 97 Pantera 580 and clutch, I guess, sheared off from the spider and the rest of the shaft, so I can't use the clutch puller. That's the spider with the shaft in it. Normally the clutch puller will go in there and then it'll go up against the crank and you'll be able to pull your clutch off, but fortunately I can't do that. So last night I tried a 3-jaw puller to pull it off, and it ended up breaking the tabs off the back part of the clutch. So today I'm in the process of cutting this sucker off. So far, this is what we got. The whole goal of it is to try and get this small enough that I can get behind the sheave here with the big clutch puller somehow and push up against the crank and just yank this piece off. We're going to do a bit more cutting here, and then I'll come back with another video and show you how to process it. Here we go. We're almost through the second cut. I just got to get this off, or we are through the second cut. There's not much holding this on right now there. So I know I went through a lot of posts, and there was a guy getting bolts out that were stuck in the crank, and everybody seemed to be asking, well, how do you pull off the rest of the clutch if you can't get the puller in? This is what we're trying. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think we'll be able to get the puller behind here somehow and then yank it off that way. Honestly, it's the only way I can really think of. I know there's people that mention drilling 3 holes and using a conventional puller, but we're going to see how this goes, and if it goes well, then I'll post it so everybody can hopefully use it and learn from it and see what happens. So, wish me luck. Okay, so unfortunately I still had my ring gear, the starter ring gear attached, or it always was attached to the back of the clutch. The only way I can really get the pieces off was to cut through the ring gear as I was going along. So yesterday I had already bent it, so it was scrap, and then today I cut through it, so it's scrap. So I'm just going to show you here. I'm going to turn the camera around there. I managed to cut the other piece off on the bottom, and if the ring gear wasn't there, because this is white metal, you can actually just cut through maybe a 1/4 inch, and then you just give it a good whack, not even hard, and it just breaks right off. So if the ring gear wasn't there, you'd pretty much be able to do that all the way around. Now, the way my puller's made is more in a triangle, so the way that the claws are actually going to hook on, I might actually have to come along and cut these here so that the puller actually has something strong to attach to. So we're going to proceed with that, and we'll be back to show you. Okay, so we're back. What I was trying to do didn't work. The white metal kept breaking when I would put the puller on. So that doesn't work. There's not much room to get behind the shaft and between the block, and it wasn't working. So I have a mighty pick here. Using it as a depth gauge, I went in, and I don't know if you can see it there, but you can see, get some light. You can see the head of the pick going past that cut line, and I'm bottoming out on the crank right now. So fandangled measurement there. I put a Sharpie line, and I'm about 3/8 away, 1/2 inch away from the end of the crank. So my hopes are is that I'm going to lop this off, just the sheave of the clutch, and then slowly I'm going to chew away at this with the grinder. It's going well. It doesn't take long. You got to take your time, and we'll get it. Just slow and steady wins the race, I guess. We don't want to start cutting into the crank, so I'm taking my time, and I'll keep you posted. We'll be back. Okay, so here we are. We got through it. Lobbed off the end of the clutch. You can see the crank right there. That is a taper, so if we do end up slicing into the clutch this way, we have to be careful not to go in a straight line, to go a bit on an angle, because we don't want to start cutting into that. What I might do is cut this off straight and then slowly start shaving this down. I don't know if I can get in there with a cold chisel and crack this, but I don't want to start hitting the crank too much. I don't want to damage any bearings or any seals or anything, so gonna take it easy, and we'll be back. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I managed to do 2 cuts, and then with a cold chisel I was able just to give it a couple of good whacks there. Not too hard, but it just kind of fell off of this. I guess this is pressed on to the knurled, I guess, sheave or whatever it is. I guess that's what holds it all together, but I'm gonna see if maybe I can get I have a slide hammer hooks that I could maybe get behind here. I'm not going to use the slide hammer, but I'm going to see if I can do something. Either that, or I'm going to come in on an angle with the grinder and cut a slot the same way you would cut a slot to take off the inner race of a wheel bearing that's stuck onto the hub. I think that might work, actually. I don't think I'm going to waste my time with a puller, so I think I might just go ahead and do that. Keeping in mind that this is a tapered shaft, so you have to keep that in mind. So maybe if you come in on an angle a bit with your grinder, we should be able to do that. I'm going to give that a try. Unfortunately, I know it's not the best thing to do, but this would be very hard to do if you had the guard on the grinder. So unfortunately, you have to take the guard off, or you're not going to be able to see what you're doing. Okay, folks. So yes, I got the double glasses action going on there, but whatever. It works. So I managed to get it off. Putting grooves into the sheath didn't exactly work because I couldn't get close enough in. But anyways, I think it relieves some of the tension. And then I was able to put I MacGyvered one of my pullers to a 2-prong puller that was able to get behind it. And just a couple of agadugas on the DeWalt impact, and it came right off. Like, honestly, it wasn't hard to come off. So that's it. It took a bit of work. Took me probably about an hour and a half to get it off, but it's off. So there you go. I did cut into it a little bit. It's not the end of the world. I would have rather not to, but all in all, little Scotch Brite on there to clean it up. All in all, pretty damn happy. Good stuff. I scratched my head a couple of days how to get this off. I searched everywhere on YouTube, and there was no videos saying how to get it off. So hopefully now there'll be one. All right. This is the one of one video so far. I don't know if there's going to be more, but we'll see. Take care, everybody.